is Lottie and welcome back to another video. Now when it comes to manga and anime, we typically see a large variety of different series with different genres that become popular, whether it be a sports manga or an action manga or maybe even a horror. There is a large variety in what becomes popular. Yet, although we see these many genres that come out, there has always been one that has been more popular than any, and that of course being the battle shonen. When it comes to battle shonen, there are countless examples you could give. You could give examples such as popular series like Naruto, One Piece, maybe even Bleach, One Punch Man. There are so many series that fit under this category that have been popular for so long, and this genre has been popular over so many years now, and there have been series that have continued to keep their popularity, whilst there are some that have lost it. For today's video, I want to introduce you guys to a manga series that was much popular back in the early 2000s, but kind of lost its popularity recently. And that manga is Black Cat. Now when it comes to early 2000s, I think this manga is such a good representation of what Shonen Jump was. Black Cat was a series that was released from 2000 to 2004, and it was written by Kentaro Yabuki. Kentaro Yabuki released this series under Shonen Jump, and in its early 2000s, whilst it was being released, it gained a lot of popularity over in Japan, as well as in the West, maintaining kind of a steady fan base. This was a manga series that was heavily talked about, and it even managed to get its own anime adaptation. The Black Cat anime only consisted of 23 episodes, it had an ending, and it was actually very well received. It was created under Studio Gonzo, which you may know for creating anime such as the Gantz adaptation, as well as Rosario to Vampire. They're very popular anime company. Despite the anime's popularity and the manga's popularity, it almost seems that as of recent, this manga has kind of disappeared. Like, you don't really hear anyone talk about it. So, while discussing this manga, let's look at what the plot was about. The series followed our main character, Train Hartnett, who is a bounty hunter who works with his partner, Sven. And as we follow the series, we start to learn that Train hasn't been a bounty hunter all his life, and his past actually kind of has a dark secret to it. He wasn't always the kind bounty hunter that he is now, and he actually used to be an assassin. But due to parts of his past that made him feel a certain way, he decided to change his ways and become a bounty hunter. Now, one thing I do want to say about this series is if you are a fan of the series Cowboy Bebop or Rurouni Kenshin, I feel like this series kind of has a very similar vibe, and it's definitely a series that you should check out. For example, the relationship between Sven and Train definitely reminded me that of Jet and Spike from Cowboy Bebop. It almost very much resembled them in the way that Train was this assassin mercenary, kind of similar to what Spike was. But then Sven takes him in and he looks after him. He doesn't care about his past. He wants him to do well in life. As we follow our main character, we start to see his past catch up with him, and him, although he wanted to avoid his past and the events that happened, he either has to rejoin this group that he was a part of, or he will have to take it down with his friend and new people he meets along the way. It's not a series that was very unique, but it was something that was very familiar when you read it. But it's not familiar in a repetitive way, but more of a comforting way. As I read this, one thing I had to appreciate was the fact that all of the characters were so well developed, Despite maybe one of the female characters not getting enough development as I wish, Miss Rinslet, I really wish she did, but a lot of the characters were really well developed. You understood why they felt their way for each other, such as our main villain and our main character. And when you read the backstory and everything that happens, it is so well written. As well, with this being a shonen action series, there is a lot of action in it. And one thing I find with a lot of action series is it is hard to navigate fight scenes. At times you will read a fight scene and it will be all over the place, but the artist is so amazing in the way he draws these fight scenes, and he creates them and navigates them in a way that you can understand what's going on. It's not like you have to watch and imagine, you can just see and understand. There was no surprise as to why this series back in the day was so popular, but it leaves the question now, why did it lose its popularity? Now, obviously, with being released under Shonen Jump, there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of series that have overshadowed it. When you have series such as One Piece, when you have series such as Naruto, Bleach, your typical shonens, they very much washed this out of the picture. They were just so popular, so unique, and so brilliant that it was no surprise that a lot of people wanted to read these more than Black Cat, especially with these series being a lot longer and being a lot more better to kind of invest yourself into. More people back in the early 2000s compared to now wanted to read something that was longer, more interesting, more character development. Despite this series being very short and developed, it was kind of underwhelming for some people, I guess, in a way. It's more like I want to read something I can heavily invest myself into rather than something I can only invest myself into for a small amount of time. Which also leads me to the fact that this being an older series and without it being continued, it just gets more and more pushed to the back. And I think this is what will happen with a lot more of our popular series now. When you're such a short series and you haven't got the large fan base you need to continue pushing this series forward, it's just going to stay shadowed at the back. Being an older series as well as an older anime, a lot more people are not interested in the style, the art, and it just gets really overshadowed. More people would rather pick up a new ongoing series that they can read every month, or an ongoing series that they can catch up on and then read every month again. But with that being said, I don't think it's a series that should be overlooked. I don't think it is a series that people should just look at and then push it to the back. Despite it not being something that is a masterpiece, I feel like it is such a shonen classic. So many of us who grew up with shonen manga at a young age, this was one of our starter series. I literally have nearly all of the collection here, and it's a comfort read for me. I've read this series like twice in my lifetime, and I'll probably reread it again because it is a good series. It's not fantastic, it's not unique, but it's just so cool and amazing. And the fact that it's just been kind of brushed under the rug and hasn't been as appreciated now as it used to is kind of a sad feeling. With a series like this, I'd really love to see like a new anime adaptation of it. When we see other series that get more anime adaptations from their past as well as re-releases, I look at some of the older series such as Black Cat and I still wonder, why haven't they done it? It would be so cool to see Black Cat released to a new audience and to see people who haven't gotten the nostalgia for it, how they would view such a classic shonen, something that is a lot different to series such as Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, or the new shonen that is out now. I would really love to see how newer fans would receive a series like this. So now let's get on to the point of this video. Is this manga worth checking out? Yes. Is that even a question? I feel like this series is something that all manga readers need to check out. There are so many different series that are out there that I feel like this is such a shonen adventure. It is one of the classics of shonen. I see people recommend series like Yu Yu Hakusho, Slam Dunk, but I feel like they overlook Black Cat and they don't recommend it enough. So for you guys watching this video today, if there is one older shonen you should check out, I highly recommend it be Black Cat. And I recommend the manga and not the anime, because I watched the anime and I didn't enjoy it. The manga though is really good, so I recommend it. But with that being said, I'm going to leave the video at that for today. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and you are willing to check out this series. If you do, make sure you leave a comment down below on how you find this series. I'm really interested to hear your opinions and views of this series. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know I haven't been consistent with my uploads lately and I plan on fixing that. I know I say it a lot, but I will. I promise you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have the best day. And for now, farewell, friendy eye.